All right, mic check, mic check. Morning Masters podcast. I was made, of course, another Thinking Out Loud. First and foremost, I want to thank all the supporters, listeners. The past week was amazing again. So shout out to y'all once again, as always. Have to shout y'all out first. Without y'all, wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Definitely. Dope episode I put out last week. Think Out Loud, I think it was really good. I put out last week, but the episode was really good. I had on my guy from the Weirdo Collection, you know what I'm saying? Ja Da Vinci, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. Very, very dope. I told you I'm trying to expand just outside of Augusta. Just so happened I happened to meet him in Augusta, yes, but he represents a culture outside of Augusta, right in the outskirts, the Milledgeville. He said, damn, where he say he was from? Sparta, Milledgeville, Sparta, Putnam County area, which I also know people from and are fluent there, but I'm trying to expand, man. So that was dope to do. I'm killing two birds with one stone. I still want to get some people in Aiken, some people in the Willistons, the South Carolina. I want to kind of go out to the outskirts and just touch and talk to those people that's from here. If you know anybody that's from them surrounding areas and small town areas, let me know if they're interested. I want to interview them. They don't have to have nothing going on. Just be able to talk about their life and be able to answer questions in conversation form fashion, you know. I do want to bring something back though, man. So shout out to supporter once again. I want to bring something back. I want to bring back playing music on my Thinking Out Loud. Before any of y'all see me on camera all the time, I would do these. It wasn't called Thinking Out Loud yet. That name came out later on, but I would do episodes. I would do a podcast, and the first 4 or 5 minutes would just be me talking crap over music and playing music, and it was just fun. It was cool, you know what I'm saying? I want to bring that back. So I figure, why not bring it back? Because Valentine's Day about to come up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know I love me some R&B music, right? So yeah, let's start some R&B music. Let's bring that back real quick. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see. I like that. Nice and smooth too. Hey. Yeah, I know I love me some Anita Baker too. I love Anita Baker, I'm not gonna lie. But what? Must have been blind. But it's the thing, man. Real quick, let me turn it down a little bit. Look, this is the thing, right? I love me some Anita Baker. I feel like I'm gonna talk about that in a minute about why I like her. But gosh, she just a goddess, man. Loneliness. It's another thing, man. February 14th coming up. I think February 14th coming up, you got two feelings, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're older. Two feelings, man. Real quick, because it's a rule I got. You don't talk while Anita Baker is singing. I think that's highly disrespectful to the culture. It's too disrespectful, so I'm going to just pause it for a second. Man, there's two feelings you're going to have, all right? This is one of them. This is when you messed up or what they say, you fumbled. Or you got fumbled. This is a feeling you have. No one in the world. You miss your partner or somebody who brought this joy to your life. You know, February 14th, you're lonely now. You know what I'm saying? So you're telling this person, you know, no one in the world knows me like you do. You know? So I just wanted to explain the song, you know. They told me stop licking my lips so much, man. So I got the Carmex now. No, baby. They ain't happy with their life. That's why they missed the person. So I feel like you got two moods. Alright? One mood is no one in the world. Alright? Or you lucky. Right? You beat the love lottery, so to speak. I call it lottery. And you're enjoying this person's enjoying you. And, you know, y'all got sweet love. Sing it, baby. All my heart. Stay with me. Don't leave. And you will see my arms will hold you, baby. Never. 'Cause I believe I'm in love. Sweet love. feel, right? I really feel this way about Anita Baker. I feel like if I can't vibe with you or with Anita Baker, you ain't the one. If I can't vibe with you to Anita Baker, you're not the one. I just don't feel it. It ain't there. Like, I love Anita Baker. I feel like she is like the poster child, the poster singer, the model citizen for a woman. I don't know if she's curvy or not, but the song sounds like she's curvy, so I'm gonna go with it. We love. No shame. Hey, look, man. If the love is sweet, ain't no shame. Ain't no shame. Don't go away. No stronger love. Why? Talk to me. Sing it, baby. Why? You gonna be there, I know. Better be. DJ Main on the track. Alright, look, man. In all seriousness, though, man, like, let me stop that real quick. I can't play the whole song anyway. YouTube probably gonna flag it, but look, man. Seriously, one thing about music, that I love is what it represents, man. Like R&B, the musicians, the singers, the writers, right? When you think of R&B, or when I think of Anita Baker, like, the reason why I like her so much, when I think about her, I feel like she is, and it's just to me, it's my opinion. When I hear her voice and you put the voice with the lyrics and you put the lyrics and you start to imagine, you got this imagery in your head, in your mind, it's the perfect woman. And I mean perfect, not in the sense of perfect. Perfect is in the sense of perfect for me, right? Like the song she had, I Apologize. You know what I'm saying? Like womaning up and say, hey, look, that's my bad. I was wrong. You a king. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the stuff I like that. Like I like that about her. They just don't make them like her anymore. Like her lyrics, like she said, I put everything on my wedding ring. I'm giving you the best that I got. That's the epitome of the kind of woman I would want to be with, I think, But shout out to Anita Baker, man. Love her to death. Don't even know her as a person, right? But when I think about how she sings, her tone of voice, the aggression, lack of aggression in certain areas, the softness, the hardness sometimes, like when I think about her and how she is able to captivate my attention and give me this imagery of relationships or this imagery of a certain kind of woman. That's why I love to listen to Anita Baker. Like that's my only. I can't really put it in words. I'll be talking all day. I just love her. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I have bad days, like on my worst days, I'm always playing Anita Baker. I play No One in the World. I play anything really. I play the best of, but anything really. My favorite song of Anita Baker changes every single day. To be honest with you, I ain't even gonna hold you. So man, yeah, that's my session. Normally it never went 9 minutes, but it's been a long time since I did it. So I ain't gonna lie, I kind of was rusty. I couldn't hit certain buttons. You probably see me messing up a little bit, but I ain't gonna edit it out. It's gonna be growth. It's a growth year for me. And that people say when they messing up, it's a growth year. that's a new thing to say. I'm messing up. It's a growth year, right? Or they say what we be saying. It's no losses, just lessons. Yeah, you lost. But yeah, man, another episode. I wanted to start out just on a funny tip, right, with the social media stuff. So I posted a little minute ago, right? I posted that I wish that I could have went back in time. I wish that I could went back in time. And I'm not saying a long time, 5, 7 years, maybe something like that, something light, nothing too crazy. Where I can Google the word algorithm. Because I'm just curious to know what that word meant in that day and time. Like whatever day they send me back to, whether it's 2012, 2008, 2015, somewhere in that era, I have to know exactly what algorithm meant. The reason being because I see this word getting thrown around all the time. Algorithm. Mainly by people I know. So and with how the word is spelled and just the challenge of the word, I know they shouldn't be using that word. No disrespect to anybody I know. I'm not saying you're dumb, but you know, uh, I just have to know what it not only what it exactly means now, but I need to know what it meant then because whatever it means now, I know they didn't change the definition about 4, 5, 20 times. Anytime I talk about my timeline or something to do with social media, right? Something to do with whether my podcast, somebody else's podcast, or this, or something you're seeing, whether it's the porn on Twitter or on social media, or whether it's um the people who are spamming things like, oh, it's your algorithm. And I'm just like, what that mean though? I get what you're saying. It's the algorithm, right? So I know it's but then you take algorithm, and I'm like, well, when did this word become a thing, and why is somebody like you using it? I think it's the new way to explain things without explaining things. So the next time, fellas, ladies, you get caught up, or if you don't get caught up, or you do something that's questionable, and you have to explain it. Just tell them, like, look, man, it's really just the algorithm. I don't know, but I apologize, but I have to change my algorithm, and things will get better. I think you'll get away with that because nobody knows what it means. Apparently, I post about it. I haven't had a definition yet, but people use the word all the time. I have yet to use that word. I don't know what it means. I don't like to use words. I don't know what they mean. But I'm seeing it's getting out of hand on the usage of uh, individuals that I put in a certain category. Let's just say that to say better words. I'm not a bad guy. What's what they tell you about me? Right? So uh, that's one. The second thing, I'm sorry, but I wasn't going to record today, but I'm feeling the mood to record. Man, the pollen must have came out early because my insides are messed up. I took Allegra, but I think I'm too late. I'm a day late, so I got to take a few more Allegras or something because insides are clogged. So I sound sick. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. The job still got to get done. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got COVID, so I'm good, but the job still got to get done, so I got to put this product out. But yeah, the pollen, it got me messed up. Another thing that I posted on social media, because this is a little more social media driven, right? I posted on social media was, you know, I know that sometimes I can voice an opinion. I have a podcast, so a lot of times, a lot of stuff is opinion based. One thing I try not to do, I try not to give y'all fake facts, meaning like saying things like 9 times out of 10, 75%. But you gotta realize when you say them things, those are stats you're giving out. I can't sit here and tell you, well, 9 out of every 10 women do this, or 75% of men think this way. I don't know, bro. Like I like to say things like majority, half of, which is still 50%, but when I say half, I'm just talking about, close to half. Yeah, give or take 60-40. Who cares? Or a little bit. Like majority, a little bit. I say high 90s to just make it sound like a lot. But when you say things like 9 out of 10, 75%, you giving these precise numbers, you wildin'. Right? You wildin'. So I say that to say, what's that? That's what I don't like. I don't care about somebody having a difference of opinion with me. I feel like that's healthy. It makes sense. I don't like when it's the same people all the time because then I feel like, all right, do we have smoke? We got a problem because every time I'm saying something, every time I see you, what Vaughn said in Separate, every time I see you, I get a bad vibe. Every time I see you, I get a bad vibe because you got a difference of opinion with me. Like, do you never agree with me? Like, ever in life? Ever? And so that's one thing. But the second thing, that part don't bother me because that's going to happen. People hate, people feel away. Cool. The main thing I don't like is when don't ever think it's okay, to leave a paragraph under a status that I wrote and you got a difference of opinion. Because this is the thing. One, I ain't gonna lie, I probably don't care, bro. Just be honest with you. I probably don't care, right? And then that makes it bad because if I don't care, I don't need to see a paragraph of you explaining why you don't agree with me. Even if you don't agree, you can sit and say, I don't agree. I'm gonna like it. Cool. If you say, I don't agree with a paragraph, I might like it. All right. I might say, you right. All right. Or I'm gonna ignore it. It's only 3 options for me. I'm gonna like it. How ha. I'm a funny guy. So like or ha. Comment, you right. Or I'm gonna just ignore it. Cause I don't have time for that, bro. Like I'm not going back and forth. You read a paragraph and now I gotta explain things. If you like me and you busy, which some of y'all not, but if you like me and you busy, I might have typo because I'm trying to write this, I'm sending emails, all this stuff. I ain't got time for that, man. Like we ain't got time for that. So shout out to Cam. He made a rule, man. The new rule is this, man. You can have an opposing view on social media. You can have an opposing view on Facebook. You can have an opposing view on my status. It just, if you have an opposing view, you're not allowed to write a paragraph. Paragraphs are for if you agree only, because that's the only time I'm reading it or I'm gonna care. A paragraph of you helping me make my point. All right. If you're not helping me make my point, I don't want to see it. And I'm not saying that you have to agree with me all the time. No. But when I don't agree with somebody, you know what I do? I'm done music, man. You know what I do? This is my thumb right. I don't agree. I don't agree. I just swipe up. I just keep swiping. If I don't agree, I just keep swiping. If it's somebody I really like, I'm cool with, like, when I say like, I mean like I'm cool with the person, not like hard eyes and all like that. But if it's somebody I like and I'm cool with, it's even more reason for me not to say nothing. I'm like, ain't no point of it. Like sometimes relationships is more than me proving you why I think you're wrong. Like it's a Thursday, bro. Come on, like let's just enjoy our Thursday. Like, come on. So that's just me though. And if y'all feel differently, write in the comments. Tell me how you feel. Like, people say, well, it's social media. That's what it's for. It's not to argue. Trust me. Social media. The point of social media is definitely not to argue. I'm not saying you can't have healthy debates. I'm not saying you can't disagree with somebody and it be settled like adults. I'm not saying that. But I can guarantee you that when somebody made social media, their thought process wasn't, listen, man, I want to build a platform where every day that person and that person disagrees. That's not how it goes. Like it's not what it's for. It's to network. It's to be social, yes. And sometimes the way you are on social media tells me everything I need to know about you. So you have people say, oh, don't judge me based on my social media. That's a cop-out to me. It's a cop-out. Why wouldn't I? So you just fake on social media, but you're real in real life. You fake on social media, but you're real in real life. It don't add up. I think social media is the person. It's a version of you. So I am gonna go with that because that's the version that I'm seeing. I'm accustomed to right now. I might not know you in real life, so you might be better. You might be an even worse person in real life outside of social media. He's asking questions, cash apps, on social media. You might be. I don't know. But I'm gonna go with the version that I see in front of me, that I get to see every day, or that I interact with. Why wouldn't I? If I know one version of you, but there's another version of you somewhere else, right? And I had to bet on a version, or I had to speak on a version of you. Why would I speak on the one I don't know about? I don't need to know that one. I'm gonna speak on the one I know about, and I'm gonna just say, hey, but I don't know them outside of this. That's just them on social media. But that's still you. But it's on social media. That's all. That's the only difference in this thing. So when people say, don't judge me, that's a cop out. You may just be a piece of shit on social media. So you saying don't judge you, fine. Anyway, social media it's a place to network and socialize. Yes, socializing. You know what's funny? You can actually agree with somebody and be social. Damn, I'm a smart guy, ain't I? You can agree with somebody and be social. You cannot disagree with somebody and be social. I don't know if everybody knows that. So I'm just saying it out there. I'm not saying it to make you feel like, oh, wow, he's the smartest guy in the world. No, I know I'm a pretty bright, intelligent young man, but no, that's just the facts. The fact of the matter is you can be social multiple ways, and those ways don't include you disagreeing or always arguing with somebody. So, and you also have to gauge your social media. You know they say read the room? Social media is a room. Read that room. I can tell just by seeing interactions, seeing statuses, seeing comments on the status, seeing people react to certain things, what kind of person they are and how I can react to that person in certain ways, right? Meaning, I'll know if somebody's gonna say, oh, I don't need your opinion. I can tell by how they talk to certain people on social media, they don't care about my opinion. So even if they right or wrong, it ain't my place to jump in and just say, oh, I'm socializing. They don't want to socialize with me. Some people only need to be nosy. It's different ways of why somebody's on social media, and you got to know that. You got to read that. You got to be aware of that, because at the end of the day, everybody don't want to be corrected. Everybody don't want to argue, and that's not the same motherfucker every day. It's Thursday, bro. Like, come on, let's tighten up, right? Um, so that's my spill on that, man. I just think social media is it's a funny place anyway. But the more you know, the more you're able to gauge certain things and have a certain understanding of how to operate social media, how to maneuver through social media. Me personally, like I said, I don't entertain certain things, so I won't even involve myself with certain comments or certain feedback or whatever. I just kind of let it slide off. There's certain people who are always going to have a strong opinion, and I end up and want to put a paragraph under your comments and or under your Facebook. And that's fine. I'm not saying don't do it because teachers don't do what you want to do. I'm just saying I'm not reading it. Like once I see you don't agree, I just kind of scroll up. That's People have diets, or they say you are the company you keep. Like it's a certain way to keep a certain energy around you. And my way to keep my energy clean around me is when I see somebody disagreeing on social media, oh, scroll up. Oh, scroll up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you getting serious, scroll up. That's me because I want to have fun. Social media is fun for me. It's fun. I want to post my content, my kids. I want to put positive energy in there. The only time I put negative energy out there is if when I put negative energy on social media, it is a substitution of me doing something that could uh, affect me personally in bad ways. Let's say that. So that's my way of substituting for that. Take that however you want to take it, right? So I do want to end with something though, man. I'm in a podcast game and people ask me to talk about it, or I see a lot of comments on it. So Jay Prince, who's a big figure in Texas, Houston, wherever. They went on $1 million worth of game. Great podcast, by the way. And they went on another interview about the takeoff situation. It's like the third one, right? Or it's a lot of them because they got the thing. What's the thing you do when you call in a house club? I feel old now. Clubhouse. You got that, and then interview after interview after interview. We get it, bro. Y'all don't want the motherfucker to go to jail. That's common. It happens a lot in the hoods, in the neighborhoods we grow up in, or in the areas we grow up in. It happens a lot. Somebody does something, and people saying they're not saying they're innocent. They're just saying they shouldn't go to jail for whatever reason, right? It happens. It happens a lot, actually. My thought, and people wanted to know, like, well, how many interviews they gonna do? Why would Wallow and Gilly have them on a podcast? What's your thoughts on them being on a podcast? This is my thing. I want to say a couple things, right? So I'm gonna try to do this in 90 seconds if I can, but most likely I can't. One, I would be okay in life if I never, ever, ever heard another Jay Prince interview. He went from being this person that was like unspoken, or only spoken rather, and you just never saw, to like I've seen him in 30 interviews in the last 2 years. I'm actually blaming Pusha T for this. I don't know why I just blame Pusha T. All right, that's number one. Number two, the real answer to this question of why would Gilly and Wallow have Jazz Prince or Jay Prince, whatever, mob ties on their podcast. This is the real answer to that question. Politics. I had Jordan Johnson on here, and he said the meaning of politics is who gets what and why. Who gets what and why. You also got when, where, and how, right? So I want to break this down a little bit, right? So media is weighing very heavily in like cases and judgment of things, right? So social media is now a judge as well. When you think about politics and how it works, $1 million worth of game has the streets in a headlock right now, like a big headlock in the podcast game. Like they are the podcast. The streets loves $1 million worth of game. They have a heavy influence. That's the guys you want to go to right now. You want to get your artist popping. You want to get a business off the ground. You want to get an ad. You go into $1 million worth of game. Wallow and Gilly has done a phenomenal job of taking over the streets with their brand and their podcast, right? So take that in one hand, right? Now you have a street case, street situation, a group with heavy street ties that needs to do some cleanup on their image in the streets right now, right? The the political thing to do is to merge them two, take their influence, right? You're taking their influence, and we want to take our likeness, merge together, have us look like good guys so that people can be influenced. Oh, you know what? They are good. Damn, you know what? It wasn't their fault. Damn, you know what? It is Quavo's fault or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever picture they're trying to paint, they're going to use that influence to paint that picture because that's politics. That's the reason why. It's not. They could have chosen any podcast to go to. They probably chose to go to Million Dollar Game. I believe they shot it in Houston, Texas, hometown. So I'm saying politics is who gets what, which is they get an interview, they get to clean their image up, right? It's Jay Prince. You want to do that? Why? Because he's Jay Prince. That's political in itself. Because even though they have the streets on lock podcast wise, he has the streets on lock in a certain area where people in the industry are making a lot of money at. And people have to go there to make money. It's tours. That's a heavy tour date there. It's a very it's a area where a lot of money can be made by these kind of people. So just like he needs them, they need him. And you can make sure you're safe when you're there. So politics. Who gets what? Why? How? In this podcast form is how. Where? In that city. Why? Because we're going to make sure this thing gets done right. We're going to make sure that I'm satisfied before you put it out. And let's do it here just in case you stop pulling funny stuff. It's not common. It's not rocket science, bro. That's just the nature of the business. So my thoughts on it is this, man. To end and closing, man. I just personally felt like when you what can I say? When you're dealing with death, you have to think about a few things, man. People get affected by it. The victim, their families, every time that name pops up, every time that story comes up, they relive that all over again. So I would say think about that. You know, if you ever dealt with death on any side of it, whether you killed someone, whether you was on that side of the gun, whether you've almost experienced death, whether you got shot, whether you've been somebody who got shot, whether you was in situations where it went crazy and somebody got killed, you realize how every time you're hearing these stories, it's another vivid imagery in your mind playing back and forth. So I think when you take in effect that part, it's kind of messed up because but it's politics. So at that point, they pick the side of this politics of what we're going to do. Granted, it's social media. This is the thing about social media right here, right? Everybody upset with them for doing this interview. Everybody upset with them for not pushing back. They feel like, I heard people say, well, I feel like it was enough pushback in the interview. They let them say whatever they wanted to say. They let them paint this narrative. That was the politics of it. When you have somebody who's in politics or who knows how to politic on a platform, go to the Breakfast Club. Any platform you see a politician on or somebody running for something on, they usually are controlling the narrative of an interview. They paint a picture for themselves. They get asked certain questions. They dance around certain questions. You've seen points of that interview where Jay Prince kind of took over, and it's kind of like when he talks, then we gonna move on. You know, so anytime I step in, that kind of means, hey, we gonna move on from that. Y'all treading waters now. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion. I just feel like it was a political move, but I mean, like I said, when you in this business right now, the streets and social media and the industry is all going hand in hand. Like you don't have one without the other. There's no more just only streets now. People say, I'm in the streets, I don't do social media. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's almost impossible. Everybody in the streets is doing social media. Everybody in social media probably got a dibble and dabble in the streets, and the industry is just a mixture of both. And that's just the nature of the business, man. Like even me, like even in Augusta, right? Like, and I can say this, man. I don't mind saying this. There's certain people in the city that I just won't have on. I'm just not going to. And it's probably it's politics. It could be because I got a strong alliance with this person, and that whatever they have going on is just a little too much for me to get into. But because I'm aligned with that person probably can never come on the podcast. That's politics. I'm not saying that just because you don't like somebody, they can't come on my platform. No. But when you have certain relationships with certain people and you know how deep certain things go, you have to pick a side at some point, and that's politics as well. Picking sides, even if it's just for a moment, because that might be deciding one today, but then later on it might make sense for me not to have a side at all. I could be neutral at some point, but it all depending on so many other determining factors. But back to this particular instance, yeah, I think it wasn't the first time Jay Princeton was on. Wasn't their first time on. They knew what to expect going into that interview. They knew that, honestly, in media right now, a lot of us, I'm saying us because I'm in media, a lot of us are media whores. Meaning, today, right, if somebody went viral today and in Augusta and they did something that just went crazy viral, right, and it hit me up, it hit a few podcasters up, at least one of the podcasters, one of the media outlets are going to bite that bait because they want that interview. That's how it works. Somebody has something going. It's politics, right? Who gets what and why? You went viral. What do you want to get? I want to interview with you. Okay, that's who's getting it. You're getting that because you went viral. That's the why. You went viral, so you're getting that now. You're getting interviewed on my platform. You probably wouldn't have got it had you not gone viral, had you not made that post. I'm political. Sometimes it might not go viral, so to speak, but sometimes I have people on the podcast who made a post that I wasn't thinking about them before to get on the podcast, but now it's like, oh, come on, explain that. That post is gonna garner attention. Him or her explaining that post is gonna garner somebody's attention. That's politics, right? I'm getting this interview from this person. Why? Because they made that post. So I don't fault like Wallow and Get It. Plus, like I said, I'm just a small fry. Who am I, But I will say that you gotta look at things for what they are. And it's politics and everything. Like I said, politics and everything. It's politics in the streets. One thing I can say about Gilly and Wallow, they both come from street cloths, have a heavy street background, heavy crime, criminal past. I think that if it was a podcast that could do that interview or could be in this mess of a I'm not innocent, they innocent type thing, it's probably them because they can govern themselves accordingly. Certain things they ain't gonna ask just because of their morals, principles, and values. Certain things they ain't gonna ask. Which also brings me to another point of, and I'll talk this later on, I have to look at my research and do it. Are we really journalists? Because we all podcast and now we think we journalists. Are we really journalists if we're not asking questions or probing questions that people would want to know? People want to be asked. People want the answers to in certain situations or with certain guests because of our morals and values. So I'm not asking you this question because I'm a street guy. I'm not asking you this question because that would imply something else. Am I really a journalist? Because a journalist, in my opinion, would ask somebody, hey, well, did you kill Becky? I don't know. I'm just throwing a name out there. I'm sorry. I had to be a white name. It couldn't be a black name. A journalist would ask that question. I wouldn't ask that question to nobody. Even if I know that you did or didn't, I'm not gonna say actually. So did you kill him? Like that's not asking that question. It's just against something I don't like to do. Right? Can I consider myself a journalist still? I don't know. I don't know the definition. I'm just wondering and get y'all opinions on that. I thought that was dope. I seen Jamil or Jamila. I don't know. The woman who got kicked off ESPN. Very 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 dope anchor and journalist by the way. And she spoke about that, and she was like how some of these podcasters aren't journalists because they're not pushing the envelope. They're not asking these questions on purpose. They won't have this person on because of this or because of that. But a journalist don't. They don't have that. They just trying to get information out to the people. I said, damn. Let me sit back and think about that. Can I consider myself a journalist? I'm not mad about it if I can't, because if not, I'll just be a podcaster. And I'm fine with that, right? But yeah, man, I'm sorry. This was too long. Nothing allowed. Make sure y'all go shop with my guy, Rick McGee. You know what I'm saying? Got the Augusta shirt. This is old. I ain't in it, so hopefully it don't look wrinkled on TV. Just wanted to post something, put out some content. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all amazing. I will play music on the way out, but nah, I ain't gonna do that. Oh, shut up. Nah, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. All right, man, we out.